Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Once more, welcome to yet another episode of the You Can Be Anything podcast, Fireside Chat. And today, as a continuation of what we were talking about last week, we are doing a deep dive into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other coins. I have some interesting people out here, and we're going to have a conversation. Stay glued to your screens, ask your questions. Let me know if there are any questions you would love to ask them. And hey, let's have a conversation. Let's learn. Because one of the reasons I'm here today is because I want to learn. So I hope that you also have a good time with us here on Facebook and also on YouTube. Shout out to my YouTube subscribers. Okay. So on the show today, again, first of all, I'm going to bring on my dear friend Sponder Z. He's going to be helping me with moderating this show. And the reason is because I know for sure that I need some guidance, especially if we are talking about coins. I need somebody that will be a great moderator. And of course, if you have listened to him before, we all know that Z is an amazing moderator. Thank you so much, Z, for accepting to be the moderator on this show today. And welcome to the You Can Be Anything podcast.
Thank you for having me, Babes. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much, and looking forward to having a very fruitful conversation.
Awesome. And after Z, we have our very own Kobe Bryant, right? Again, if people hear me talking about Bitcoin, of course, you know that one of my guests will be Brian. So today we also have Brian. Brian will be here with his Bitcoin hat, ready to fight as a Bitcoiner. Welcome to the show, Brian. Happy to have you.
Hi, Sister Babes. It's an honor to be here as usual. Your platform is very forward thinking, and then you have incredible spawn there. I think very soon in Cameroon, he will be a constant as the moderator.
Right?
It's an honor
Thank
to
you very
be with
much.
you guys.
Thank you very
Amazing.
much.
And also on the panel today, we have Dixon. All right. Hello, Dixon. If you watched the show last week, of course, you know that Dixon came in hard with the whole Ethereum cannot be called a what coin? We're going to get to that. But then I have all of them here today to talk to us. We're going to share our insights. We're going to learn. We're going to ask our questions. And hey, this is a conversation. The people on this panel have their opinions about different things. So please respect their opinions. And hey, we are not here to give you financial advice. We are here to have conversations about the cryptocurrency market. All right. So thank you all so much for accepting to come to this platform. And hey, our incredible sponder, our most respected moderator, I hand this over to you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. This is a very touchy topic, cryptocurrency. When it first came up, people were skeptical, and then people jumped into it, and then SBF actually had this scandal, and everybody was, more skeptical than before. Plus, when people are unsure about something in a recession, that is the first thing that they cut out. I, for one, I have dabbled with different types of cryptocurrencies, but today we have people who have stood beside it despite the up and downs, and people who can swear by it. Now we have the Bitcoin side and we have the Ethereum side. But first of all, for people who are just joining this conversation, I want us to simplify what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about cryptocurrency. Brian, can you educate our viewers about on cryptocurrency in simple words? Dixon will come over to you right after that. Brian, you're mute, Brian.
Oh yeah, thanks Z for the question. Sister Babes really laugh that I don't know why they laugh, but anyway, like you said, so cryptocurrencies are actually currencies for the internet, or in simplest form, electronic cash. So in the real world, cash is something you can hand over to somebody and they go with it, right? You cannot hand over the cash and keep it yourself. So you can't really cheat with cash, and then it can't really be monitored. I could meet you under the bridge and give you that cash. You see, so but with computerized banking systems, the banks have all the transactions of what you do. So there's no currency now on earth, be it US dollar or euros, that can be used as cash on the internet. You see, so cryptocurrencies are currencies that were created to kind of replicate that physical cash experience that you can give somebody, and it can be anonymous, and you can be protected as though it was physical cash.
Great. Dixon, do you have anything you want to add to educate our guests about our audience about what cryptocurrency is?
Yes, actually, it's nice to be here for speaking on this, and I'm very happy to counter my brother that I love so much, Brian. And it's nice to be on the podcast, also, babe, and you, my friend, Sponda. Of course, cryptocurrency, in my opinion, is a digital currency that only exists in a network of computers called blockchains. So let me break it down a little. It's the kind of currency that is only on digital and has no central authority, meaning there's no one person or institution like a central bank that controls it. I think that is the most simplest way I could break it down. So it exists only on the computer network. That's what cryptocurrencies are.
So what I get both of you saying is that cryptocurrency, the only difference between cryptocurrency and the ledgers that the banks are keeping is that this is decentralized, as in there is no central authority regulating the use of Bitcoin, but this has been that responsibility has been transferred to other individuals inside of the blockchain. Am I wrong, or did I leave out anything?
No, you're right. You're right.
Okay, good. Now,
You're right, and I could say those are some of the metrics then that actually got us into that debate. You
all
see,
right, that
yeah.
makes sense. Okay, so the before we proceed, I would like our audience to know exactly what this debate is about. The debate was started off because Brian called Ethereum, which is a type of cryptocurrency, a shitcoin, and it is believed that a shitcoin is because it doesn't live up to the values of the cryptographic world. And Dixon, on the other hand, thought Brian does not have a good understanding of Ethereum to make this kind of allegations. And then Dixon, now we have Philip. Philip is the expert who has extensive knowledge on Ethereum and who is about to school Brian on where there are knowledge gaps. With that said, we would just introduce Philip. Philip, you mind introducing yourself? You're the Ethereum expert. Is there more you want to say about that? Philip, you're mute.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Sorry for my lateness. How's everyone?
Good, thank you.
We're very fine. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Cool. Um, Actually, I'm very intrigued on the discussions you guys are having because it's quite interesting moments in time and the way things are going. Brian's opinion with regards to why Ethereum could be a shitcoin is a valid opinion, but then it's also an opinion that could be evaluated. Now, my question to Brian is, why do you think that Ethereum is a shitcoin? So I can get your understanding from your standpoint.
Yes, before we come to that, Philip, I want you to just introduce yourself to our audience so that we know who's talking.
Right. My name is Philip Waku. I'm a software engineer and I specialize in writing secured application for um, cryptocurrency as well as secured applications for cybersecurity networking for Ethereum and dApps networks here in Italy in the financial services.
DAFs, you mean donor advised funds?
Yep.
Great. Thank you very much. Kobe, introduce yourself.
So I'm Brian. I'm also a software developer, building distributed applications, and then on the side also building applications and studying Bitcoin.
All right, good. So to just break down some of that to the audience, a donor advised fund is the possibility of giving to a particular fund that you have created, like an account. You donate to an account using Bitcoin or using crypto. So you can donate to that account, and that account now can donate to particular charities or particular organizations at will, The reason people do that is predominantly for tax purposes. And also, if you have to convert that Bitcoin into cash, you will accrue a type of tax that will make your donation lower and your deductibles lower. If I left out anything, Philip, please fill me in there. Philip, you mute.
Not at
Oh,
all. You didn't leave anything out there at all. It's all correct.
great. Thank you very much. So I'll introduce myself as a moderator. My name is Sponder. I'm not a software developer, unfortunately. Sorry to burst your bubble. I am a free thinker. I am a productivity enthusiast, and I'm an entrepreneur. That is the best way I can describe myself. I've dabbled in so many industries. So we'll cut straight to the chase. Brian, please make your case for Bitcoin. And then afterwards, Philip, I'd like you to make your case for Ethereum. And then I'm going to ask Brian to say, make a case against Ethereum, and Philip to make a case against Bitcoin. I think that's intuitive already. So, Brian, proceed.
Okay, first with the case for Bitcoin, um, if we look at history, the one of the first transactions that was made on Bitcoin, or the first block that was mined or added to the system by Satoshi, he had put a he had put a notice there, which was an article from the Times magazine in London that said Chancellor on the brink of second bailout for banks. So that's when the financial market was failing in 2008. You see, and if you to summarize that, the asset markets, the same way with money, assets or money is usually backed by assets. Back in the day, the scarcest assets like gold, but that was taken out. So then money can easily be inflated. And then the housing market, they could like start pumping more houses, borrowing against houses over and over and over until that market finally crashed. But what was interesting is when those markets crashed, no one went to jail for that. So the government will always come and bail them out. In our own developing countries, you can see that like maybe Cameco fails or Sonel fails and then the name changes. So the government just helps them like change into something else. And that's not the true spirit of capitalism, because there are some people with that power that they can change things in their favor, even money. You see, so Bitcoin was created to put all of that control on computation. You see, and so from how the network is set up, be their main security model, which is called proof of work, that you have to use electricity to secure the network, and then to other rules in the system, like a maximum supply of 21 million coins, and then other things like 10 minutes adjustable difficulty timeline for adding new transactions to the network. If they add transactions faster than that, the network is going to adjust, just like a fridge, like a thermostat. When it gets too cold, it goes off, right? When it gets a bit hot, it comes back on. So Bitcoin has that difficulty adjustment. And then in the way it stores its data, it was simplified in a way that everyone can be able to store it. So let's say, like I was showing a Bitcoin machine earlier today. Machines as small as this, they're even making it in ways that a blockchain, the entire blockchain forever, can be put run on a mobile phone. So all of those are properties that come towards this decentralization, even how it generates addresses, how they're stored, and things like that. So when you look at that technology for securing data and how it distributes it, it it epitomizes all those ideals: security, decentralization, distributedness. Those are the cases technically that when I look at it, it reminds me more of like the internet with the TCP IP protocol that allows us to exchange packages. There were other protocols at the start, but TCP IP is built in layers, and that allows us to send emails and even have conversations like this. So Bitcoin provides protocols with the tools and the technology that it can support the entire commerce for the whole world. So now other coins like Ethereum, they come and at the start they try to correct Bitcoin, saying like maybe 10 minutes is too slow, and so they want to build something that is faster, but you can start seeing the results. Maybe then you have a foundation controlling it, or you would have the coin splitting to version 2 and stuff like that. So those are some of the things that when I look at, I prefer to stay on the fundamental and firstborn of cryptocurrencies that can give us security.
Thank you very much, Brian. um, Philip, why Ethereum? Philip, find your mute button.
Uh, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can
Am I
hear you.
on mute? Okay. Well explained, Brian. I can see your perspective clearly. Why Ethereum? Ethereum, as you all know, is developed by Vitalik, and it was launched in 2015 um, to help elevate basically the blockchain network on a decentralized application for multiple networks within the blockchain, right? The ideal initially for Ethereum was to bring in the smart contracts, you know, which helped in creating trustworthiness of the transactions that were happening on the, let's say, the Bitcoin network within the blockchain. Okay, and then Ethereum within the context of the blockchain, the difference, especially in terms of functionality, gave us much virtual machine opportunity to be able to act with different roles of applications, whereas the Bitcoin as a network, was predominantly focused on building the infrastructural processing. Now, 2 years ahead, we then had the Ethereum 2.0, which brought in scalability, giving us the possibility to increase in switch of proof of POS, in this case, takes, improvement in scalability and energy efficiency, which Brian mentioned in the Bitcoin context. But this was the involvement of improving what the blockchain as a whole could become, So I can't go against that idea that Brian shared because it's what the infrastructure is all about. Now, my question is, why is it that Ethereum is considered a shitcoin, Brian?
Okay. Yes. So before we go into that, there's a few things. I know this is a highly technical conversation, so I'm trying as much as possible to make our users follow up with us. So smart contracts. I want to. You talked about smart contracts. Smart contracts is built on the Ethereum network. It just gives you authorization to transact Ethereum between two parties. If without a smart contract, you cannot do it. So if I want to send you Ethereum, you have to have a smart contract, and I have to have a smart contract. Next thing I want to talk about is how that blockchain works and how it's different from our regular banking. Inside of our regular banking, when you do a banking transaction, money doesn't actually move from A to B. They just debit and credit. So there's a sheet that is kept by the centralized government saying that Brian has given Sponder $1. So we've deducted $1 from Brian and we've added to Sponder. I have $101. Brian has $99. Difference between that and our blockchain is that that sheet, which is called the ledger, is not kept by a centralized government. It's kept by all the individuals who are on top of the blockchain. And I don't want to talk about mining. The reason I'm doing this is because I want basic users to get involved in our conversation. But at the end of the day, I would like Kobe, Brian, and Philip to understand that they have to tell us why we should care. How you give me money? How is it going to help me at the end of the day? So tailor your responses in a way that I want to know that leaving from this conversation, I'll go with Philip and say, "Hey, I'm putting my money in Ethereum and then give me money." About the latency and all these other things, how would it affect me? So Brian, when you're answering your question, please be
So I
mindful of our
understood.
audience.
Yeah, that's utility in whatever
Yeah,
points I'm bringing.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Philip. I was very stimulated, excited when I got your background. Dixon, this my brother. You never cease to surprise me. He went and brought the biggest person ever. You see
Mhm.
what I'm saying? But anyway, thanks for the question. So there are many reasons why it's considered a shitcoin. First, I'm coming like I was telling the others before. In the tech space, we always have wars, right? Like Windows versus Mac, Android versus iOS, and things like that. So this is not like a beef. It's just a tech thing that is happening. So from that point of view, we as Bitcoiners who consider Ethereum a shitcoin because of the properties that we hold very core to the idea itself of cryptocurrencies. So when someone says a cryptocurrency, I give a background how the governments inflate our money and how they bail out banks. And when you look at that background, you see that what inflation does to money is it reduces its value. It's like you have grenadine or even beer, and then they keep adding water in there. You see, so even if you keep it, it doesn't get better over time. So what that does to us is we cannot plan. That's I can't say, okay, I'll work for 1 year or 10 years, save the money, and then buy a house in 20 years because then that money must have lost its value. You see,
Mhm.
so in that background, and then but also with companies, they can pass. Sorry.
Yes, Brian. I wanted
Mhm.
Philip to address that particular part. So it doesn't have a fixed market cap, so it keeps expanding. So all the Ethereum
Max
you're
supply.
holding,
Yes,
max
max
supply.
supply, not the
So
cap. Yeah.
okay, max supply. So at every point in time, the Ethereum you're holding is being diluted.
With
The
so yes,
value.
I'm getting to that part. I was trying to go
Okay.
from a utility perspective that our own currencies are expanded like that perpetually, right? And it means things are not scheduled. You can make economic plans because the parameters keep changing. You see, so now when that's one of the reasons why like Bitcoin has a maximum supply of 21 million, and it has a fixed schedule of when every satoshi is going to be delivered. The last ones will be mined in 2140, in the year 2140. So that means at any given time from when Bitcoin started, you could search and know when a transaction happened or what will happen in future or up to like the year 2140 when the last coins will be out. So which means when we also look at the essence of like blockchains, you see that when we start looking at analytics, then we can have fixed rules. So it gives us this kind of a universe where like here we know the speed of light is constant. We have gravity at 9.8, although it changes sometimes. So when even when they're making bombs, making cars, making all of those things, they're bringing this constants into the picture in engineering. You see that? So knowing that okay, if gravity affects a car at this rate, it means the car should be this heavy to avoid fires or sliding off and things like that. So that idea was brought into cryptocurrencies too. That let's have rules that are fixed, you see, so that people can do calculations. So now on the part of Ethereum, they don't actually have a max supply that can change. You have the Ethereum Foundation that started Ethereum, and before Ethereum was launched, there was what they call a pre-sale. So, and that's one reason if you go to the Central Bank of America, you see Bitcoin as a page in the Central Bank of America where they explain it. Bitcoin is a property. And the reason is because nobody paid anything to get the first Bitcoin. It's almost like discovering water and then building dams and building irrigation channels and beginning to farm with it. So Bitcoin turned electricity into a natural resource in the digital space. So the first blocks were mined by electricity and they were mined until then they started exchanging between people. So the governments don't even know how to tax it. You see, because it's like, how will you tax water? You see what I mean? So, but when you look at Ethereum, they had a pre-sale where like 10% of what they had, the tokens, they took it for themselves and did a pre-sale so that they could pay developers. And when you look at the SEC of America today, they're still trying, they keep saying Ethereum is a security because that makes Ethereum to be like a stock since there was that pre-sale. So that's the first reason point that I can give, and we can discuss the other ones that may be more technical.
All right, so moving to Philip, before we go there, the SEC is Securities and Exchange Committees. They regulate financial transactions, in all financial assets in America. Philip, over to you.
Okay, before I move on, I want us to understand, or your viewers or listeners to understand a key point here, which is the comparative analysis, okay, of Bitcoin versus Ethereum. Okay, the differences in purpose, it's about the technology and the use case scenario that surrounds both entities. And these use case scenarios involves investment perspectives, where you have to consider the risk factor, the market trends, which Brian mentioned, and the long-term potentials if you deciding to invest on either of the entities, which is the Bitcoin or the Ethereum networks. And then you also have to consider the innovation, the future development, which these two cryptos have. So you have to also anticipate the changes and the advancement in which Bob's ecosystem are evolving, okay, to then give us the possibility to even think about the utility. So if you as an investor or thinking of getting into investing into the crypto world, these infrastructures have their own standing. One can say one is better than the other, okay? So in the context of using Ethereum as an investment opportunity, remember it's on Ethereum we have different cryptocurrencies to which you might have to go and choose and then invest or trade. Whereas with Bitcoin, it's just one coin that you have to buy or invest in. Am I wrong?
No, for a start.
Okay. So that is just, let's say, an environment for the big boys. You know, if you have the funds to invest and you want to start with a good investment, you have two choices here. You either go with the Bitcoin network on the blockchain context, or you go with Ethereum. On the Ethereum, you have all kinds of cryptocurrencies that are attached to that network. So the term shitcoin now comes in context because on the Ethereum network, you have coins that are valuable and coins that are, which brings in the term shitcoin, that are shitcoin. Okay, but that doesn't make Ethereum network completely a shit coin in its where possible. Now, on the utility aspect, there is a transfer of Ethereum transactions which can be used to transfer the Ether and the native currency of on the Ethereum network from one account to another account. That also happens with the Bitcoin. Okay, this is similar to how transactions work in the other cryptocurrencies that we have, in this case, Bitcoin. Then we have the execution of smart contract, which Spander explained briefly, which is a significant context to understand how the utility of a transaction works between using that and, just one sec, please.
Sure.
So Vibes, thanks a lot for your platform. Like, I don't know if you can feel the spirit, but there's
I was
something good going
surprised. I
on
was
here.
surprised when Philip introduced himself, and I'm like, okay, Dixon went for this. Dixon was like, you
It's
know what?
Dixie
You
AJ.
know what, Brian? I am bringing somebody that is going to school you. I'm going to bring somebody that is also a software engineer and not just someone that has learned about Ethereum. And so I'm so happy that he decided to pick someone that is going to school you, right, Dixon? You did a good job.
Oh, of course,
Well,
we
so,
and
hello guys.
I
Sorry,
have my
sorry.
own. I need to speak too. Not just both of them need to
No,
speak.
no, you will speak, of
Of
course.
course,
You're the one
I
that makes
need to
sure
Yeah.
school.
speaks.
I done my research too, and I am Brian. I am coming for you. Prepare. I am coming for you. All right. So I'll let Philip continue.
Yes,
Guys,
go ahead.
I apologize for my cutoff. I had a call coming in because I work remotely, so I have like a late hour tech support that I'm doing. So just please, if you don't mind, your viewers, just give me about 2 minutes. Let me just resolve something quickly, and I'll be right back with you guys. If you don't mind,
Sure.
please.
No worries. Dixon, now is a good time to throw your hat in the ring.
Yes, actually, for the folks who listen to this program, when we did it last weekend, yeah, I was trying to educate them to make them understand that, listen, you cannot put all your eggs on one basket. I understand the hype and the craziness of Bitcoin all around. Yeah, but it's not just all about Bitcoin. For those who are listening to this program right now and who is going to listen to this program in the future, you come across this program anytime and you want to listen to it. Now, I'm telling you, it's not just about Bitcoin. It's not just about Bitcoin. I can say that more than 300 times. There are lots of coins that can make you a millionaire in your local currency. I'm not saying you be a millionaire in dollars. No. In your own local currency, you can be a millionaire by investing as little as $100, $50, and so on and so forth. So if you just listen to Bayern only and he say the money that you know you can afford to lose, the money you know you can afford to lose. Yeah, we know the money that we can afford to lose, but that doesn't mean we can dream higher. How can I invest, for example, $100 and I have to wait for 5 years or 6 years or maybe even 10 years to get maybe 2,000 profit? That's a bad investment, to be honest. It's not cool. You can't wait that too long just for peanuts. But there
All
are
right.
other coins. Sorry?
Mm. No, 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 it's fine. Go ahead.
But there are other coins which you could put your $100 on and you could become a millionaire in your local currency. I am telling you the truth. I know there are people listening to me now and they are laughing. It is true. You can become a millionaire in your local currency. So you
Have
don't
you
need you don't need to wait for 10 years on Bitcoin, 20 years on Bitcoin to be able to make 2,000, to be able to make $3,000. It doesn't that doesn't sit well. Why you do that? There's lots of millionaires that have been made in the other side of the world, and you're just going to be left behind because you just know the only knowledge about Bitcoin. Then you've not learned anything. If you know the knowledge only that I can only invest on Bitcoin, then you've not started cryptocurrency at all. You've not
okay,
started.
Dixon?
Yes.
I want to simplify for our audience what you mean by investing.
Yes.
What Dixon means by investing, I'll tell you, and then you add to it. Just
Okay.
means that you buy the coin and wait for it to appreciate. And then at the point where it starts falling, you pull out and move on to a more stable coin, or you just take out your money. Is there anything more to that strategy which you're recommending?
Yes. Yes. Actually, there's more, and this is the most important part on it. When you
Mhm.
invest it, don't just invest blindly. Go out there and make your research. Read about the coin you're buying.
Mhm.
Do more research about that particular coin you're buying.
Mhm.
You can read about it, what is going to be in 3 years' time, what is going to be in 6 months' time. It's all online. I'm telling you. Go and
Mhm.
do your research first before you invest on any particular coin.
All right. So Dixon, are you saying this about Ethereum or any? Are you just asking Brian not to return our vision and look at other opportunities? Are you saying this about every coin, or you think that Ethereum can give us this particular
I
profitability that you
am
mentioned?
saying this. I'm saying this not just on Ethereum. I'm saying this with all other coins out there, not just Ethereum. But what I am trying to counter my brother, Kobe Bryant, over sitting down over there, laughing at me, opening his teeth, that needs to apologize to our audience, is
Mhm.
that you don't just come on air and insult the Ethereum holders and you call the Ethereum network a shitcoin. You don't do that. Ethereum can never be a shitcoin. It's Brian and just him only that is having this rhetoric about Ethereum is a shitcoin. There is nowhere out there that you see that Ethereum is a shitcoin. You can go on YouTube. I don't care who you are. I don't care if, sorry, I don't care where you're listening from. Go and do your research on your own. Don't just believe what I am saying. Go on anywhere and go and find out. You will never see it's written anywhere that Ethereum is a shitcoin. It's just my brother sitting down there that is carrying this propaganda that is a shitcoin. So I'm telling the viewers, do not listen to such propaganda. If you want to be a millionaire in your local currency, listen to what I am telling you. There are lots of investment out there. Go online, you see lots of people giving testimony about how they've made it with other alta coins. So it's not just Bitcoin alone and saying the €100, $100 you used to go to club, don't go to club, come and invest it on Bitcoin and wait after 6 years, 7 years, you might get up to 1,000. That's that's catastrophe. You don't think that way. All you need to do,
Mhm.
if you want to invest, relax, go online, research the coin you want to buy. Don't just put your money on one basket. This is my advice to all young Africans out there. Don't put your money on one basket. Since it's already something you can afford to lose, the money you can afford to lose, don't put it on one basket. Spread it out. Spread it up to
Mhm.
three, two, three, four coins. Spread it out. If this doesn't peak, maybe that might peak. If that doesn't peak, maybe this might peak. And if you even lucky, all of them might even peak. So this is the right mind of doing business. This is the right mindset to have for you to become a millionaire. Not just Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin only. No, there are lots of coin out there. Go and do your research. There are millionaires every day into the crypto world. I'm telling you, there are millionaires every day. So go and do your research before you invest on any coin.
Okay. Now, Brian, what do you have to say about that?
Oh yeah. About that, what it says is fine. I mean, people should always research, but what I'm saying is from experience, right? Like, if you look at the way Bitcoin grows, and that comes to from its properties, like the max supply, it's a very scarce asset. It's a constant, 21 million, right? And then, uh, if you look at the way the is set up, transactions, yes, the cost could go on at a certain point, but no one can control the network. So most of these coins now, like Ethereum, that you have foundations that control them, they can wake up and change it. So, for example, there was a DAO, there was an attack. Forget the year. I think it was in 2016 when Ethereum came up. I would really have loved to discuss this pointer with Philip, but we could reiterate it. The Ethereum, there was something called the DAO attack. DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organizations. So when Ethereum came up, they also proposed that no, you can use Ethereum as a machine to provide computations, but in a distributed system where no one controls it. But those are actually Bitcoin topics they were using and claiming to build them on Ethereum. So now with this DAO attack, people could send money to a given address, and then it was going to take 28 days or so, let's say the month of February, for people to send funds to that account, because that's how you test that DAO idea. So but the hacker was able to steal some money from it by exploiting some vulnerability, and that's also something I would love to discuss with Philip. Some vulnerability that allowed the hacker to siphon funds from it. So now what happened? And this is where you start testing the network based on the ideals of cryptocurrency. The founder of Ethereum, Vitalik, so he came and said, "All right, this is my proposal. Let's split the network, right? Let's create what they call a soft fork, or let's make an update in a way that the transactions that were sent to that hacker's wallet will be ignored." I don't know if you see my point. That goes against what cryptocurrencies are. If one person can come and tell you and be able to do that, it's not really easy. I don't know if you see what I mean.
Mhm.
So now there are actually two main branches of Ethereum, even before ETH1 and ETH2. So after that hack, Ethereum split into what is called Ethereum Classic. A lot of people don't know that. And Ethereum. So you start seeing, you as someone investing money, you have to choose. If you have to stay with the Ethereum Classic, which is still at the 100 and something now, or you go to the other Ethereum, which is at like 2000, I think, or 1000 something. But when you start looking at the detail, that same Ethereum, because of high gas fees and the rest, they're beginning to change it now to proof of stake. And Philip was going to touch on that point. So
Yeah.
Ethereum 2 is coming up. So now you start having issues. Are the coins compatible? Do you have to start transferring them? So imagine in a world where you're working and you have to save your value in this. So that's the angle I'm coming from. You have to put it in some system that you're guaranteed that it's not going to change. That's why I spoke earlier about the rules that are fixed and they're secured by energy and electricity in a way that no one person can come and change it. You
Can
see,
I
so yeah.
can I quickly
Yes.
touch on what you said,
Before you
please?
come in, Dixon,
Yeah.
I'm trying to really help manage
Yeah,
the technicalities in the conversation.
there's something he
Brian
said.
talked
There's
about.
something he said that
Yeah,
it's not
let
totally
me come
true.
back to you,
It's
Dixon.
not
Let me
totally
just come
true.
back to you so that let me
Okay.
help the viewers catch up as well. So the proof of stake, it's the transition from Ethereum 1 to Ethereum 2.0. We're calling it the blockchain architecture. Bitcoin uses proof of work, while Ethereum uses proof of stake. Now, this is an architecture, a platform on which we build. It is not a token. These architectures have tokens that you provide on top of it. So you can have on top of Bitcoin, you have its own tokens and you have the architecture. And so we try to make the distinction between the architecture and the token. That coin itself, it is the token. The architecture is a platform that enables that security, and that is some of the things that they're talking about. So I'll try to make that distinction. Dixon, over to you.
Yeah, there's this thing Brian keeps saying: hackers hacked Ethereum, hackers hacked Ethereum. Let's keep it real. In 2022, this is not according to me. I've done my research. In 2022, according to the Ghost Index, the North Korea hackers stole 1.6 billion in Bitcoin. I'll repeat that again. 1.6 billion in Bitcoin. So let's not use Ethereum as a scapegoat. We say, hey, the hackers. No, they are hackers also. They can also steal Bitcoin. So let's keep it real. I'm not saying this because I am the one speaking. So anybody out there, go to the internet, go on search, go and make your request. Go and make your research and go and find out. They are also hackers stealing Bitcoin. So this old notion that, oh no, this is not safe. It's only Bitcoin that is safe. That is not safe. This is not true. That's what I'm telling. That's what I was saying in the last time, that there's too much rhetoric out there and making people feel, oh, this is the only real thing. No, it's not true. And if you want me to go on, even a year before, 200 million Bitcoin was stolen. In 2021, you can go year by year and see how much of cryptocurrencies that has been stolen. It's not just Ethereum or any other coins that get stolen by hackers. Also, Bitcoin also gets stolen. So I don't know why Brian keep using this as this and scapegoat that Bitcoin is so safe. Bitcoin, no, your
Dixon,
Bitcoin can also be stolen. It's here. It's here on the internet. You can go make your research. Whoever, right, who thinks I am
Dixon,
lying, I didn't say it. Just go out there and put your research and see that
All right.
also
Thank you, Dixon.
Bitcoin can also be stolen.
Philip,
Dixon,
over
your
to you.
point. Thank you, Dixon. Your point is taken, but you have to understand that Ethereum, as well as Bitcoin, like any complex software system, has certain vulnerabilities and challenges that it faces. On the Bitcoin network, there has been series of vulnerabilities, and like you rightfully mentioned, um, you only give a figure of a particular year, all right, and in a particular month. But there've been a series of vulnerabilities that the network lost quite a lot of funds within it. The same thing happens on the Ethereum network. I remember, guys, no um, network is as 100% secured. There are always vulnerabilities. And here is the reason why there is a continuous development within the two architecture, like Spanda mentioned, to make sure that there are solid improvements. Okay. In the Bitcoin context, there have been series of improvements in both security and how things are moving around that, as well as Ethereum. With Ethereum, we have the smart contract vulnerabilities because since it allows the creation of the smart contract, the vulnerability in Ethereum flows through different smart contract codes, So these codes had different sets of bugs in terms of logical errors, which can lead to security breaches of all sorts. And that has been what in the past year, since 2015, um, had given a series of vulnerabilities where we have series of hacks. That doesn't put Bitcoin in the safe either, because they also have their own series of hacks through different vulnerabilities they have within their systems. Now, the infamous DAO attacks in 2016, which Brian mentioned, where millions of dollars in the Etherium network were siphoned due to smart contracts vulnerability, that actually led to how much the community, how much the community in terms of developer network will decide on improving how smart contract will be then developed and put in the marketplace for securing potential investments. So if you as an investor at this point in time want to decide on investing into a cryptocurrency, you have Bitcoin, which has a high stake, and you have the Ethereum network, which within the Ethereum network, there are a lot of other potential coins that you can, invest into. You need to understand the scalability issues that we have in the network. Historically, the struggle with the scalability, particularly in handling large number of transactions, it's huge. So this leads to the network congestions. We have that issues in congestion on the network. Slow transaction times, high transaction fee with regards to the gas fee that Brian mentioned initially from the start. You have to understand this when you're trying to invest your hard-earned money in any of the network. Okay. Saying that, although we have an ongoing Ethereum 2.0 upgrade, which aims to address all these issues, it's a continuing progress. So it's still work in progress. So what I'm trying to say is, before you decide to make any investment decisions, look at the vulnerabilities that the network have and you see which fits in properly.
Yes, thank you very much. So before you go, we go to Brian. I want to help our users to follow up with the conversations that we're having. A very good resource that we use for Ethereum to see exactly how the tokens on Ethereum network are performing is a website called Etherscan. So you can go there and you see high performance for people who want to invest and low performance, and you can look at how they're performing over a period of time. And also for developers, or also when you're looking at your transaction using your MetaMask wallet, you can go to Etherscan and see exactly how those transactions are progressing on it. But Brian, I feel like your point was a little misconstrued when you tried to talk about the way the architecture was built to, that is not in compliance with the whole decentralization idea, as opposed to the vulnerability of the network. So I want you to address that.
Yes. So thanks. And thanks, Dixon. Thanks, Philip, for the points. So, we use history or statistics so that we could have better probabilities and make better decisions. So, the main point I was giving about that hack is the split of the network. And that's what caused the forks into Ethereum Classic and the Ethereum that we know today. So, and if you noticed, uh, the we're talking like Philip was saying, when you're putting value into something, you want to keep it there. So you should also look at the vulnerabilities and the rest. So one main vulnerability when it comes to value management is, can it change? Look at our countries. They change the banknotes, right? I think Nigeria changed it. Cameroon changed it. One reason they changed it is to delegit. What's that word?
Legitimize.
Delegitimize, legitimize
Delegitimize.
the old one, right? So if you had kept the old one under your mattress, and then you wake up today and they say that one is not working anymore. It's happened in India, it's happened in places like that. So you see that the banking system forks. They call it the fork because it meets like at a junction, and one of them could end at that junction and the other one could continue on a different path. You see, so one other metric like for cryptocurrencies is, okay, if I'm storing my value there, what's the guarantee that if I come 20 years later, or my ancestors, my predecessors, sorry, in 100 years, would they be able to access that? So for Bitcoiners, when you start looking at the network itself, you can still run Bitcoin from the first day. People that will send the first Bitcoin from the first time can still operate that same Bitcoin on the Bitcoin network. And in a million years, you also see those guarantees, and those are also guaranteed by proof of work. This is, so that's the point I was trying to shine out, and not just the hacks itself, but what they can lead to and how that can affect your stash that you keep on it, if that makes sense.
Can I come in, please?
Yes, Dixon, go ahead.
To our viewers again, Brian keep using Ethereum as a scapegoat, while he has no full understanding of what he's saying. And I'll go back to when he keep listing Ethereum Classic, Ethereum name service, and I'll bring Brian to his own advantage and turn it into disadvantage. Because do you know that Bitcoin has different types too? For example, do you know why Bitcoin Cash was created? And to our viewers who is listening right now, there's a difference between Bitcoin itself, BTC itself, and Bitcoin Cash. There are two differences. They sound the same, but there are two differences. And do you know why Bitcoin Cash was created? Bitcoin Cash was created in 2017 as a solution to Bitcoin's transaction speed issues. It's hard to work for Bitcoin blockchain, mining the network split into two and setting stuff like that. So now you keep making it look like, oh, Bitcoin is one, Ethereum has different type, and you keep banging the wagon on it since last week, and you're still doing it now. No, this is not right. Bitcoin has lots of types. We've got Bitcoin itself, we've got Bitcoin Diamond, we've got Bitcoin Cash. We have lots of different types of Bitcoin. And if you want, I can go on and tell you each one what they represent. They are there to support the main network because of some technical or transaction or whatsoever issues. So I just read you one. Why Bitcoin Cash was created? It was there to support Bitcoin speed transaction. So you making it look like, oh, Ethereum has 3 types, 4 types. No, Bitcoin has up to 6, 7 types too. So you can't say it on one network and you pretend it does not exist in the other network. This is not right. So if we have to say this, let's say it properly, so that when you give your kudos to Bitcoin, then you also give the disadvantages that is also around with Bitcoin, because you make it sound like Bitcoin has no defect, which is absolutely not true. And I just gave you instances, and I'm very grateful that Philip schooled you about the risk of all networks. And this is what I was trying to say at the beginning. But it pains me so much that the other guy that was here is not around today. So he would have also listened and maybe learned something today. So it's what I was telling you last week, and it's what I'm saying now. So stop using Ethereum as a scapegoat for what Bitcoin also has. So let's make it real and let's say it properly. Because I
All right.
told you I was going to do my own research too. So I did my research too. So I came back prepared. So to the viewers that are listening to me right now, I will definitely tell them there's risk everywhere. There's risk on Ethereum, There's risk on Bitcoin. There's risk everywhere. But if you need to invest, as I've said, do your research and invest wisely.
All right, Brian, can you respond to that? There's two types. There's several types of Bitcoin.
Yeah, but Philip wanted to say something, so I'm not sure if I should wait if Philip.
Well, I was just going to add to the fact that Dixon is saying that, the truth of the matter is, Brian, from the way I'm looking at things, he's an advocate for Bitcoin. So it's bound that he will always and always, you know, boast himself on the Bitcoin,
I'm a Bitcoiner.
you know. But having said that, these are basically similar systems running on the same blockchain, right? We could come on and have Brian on the network, and Brian on the network could be perfectly doing good stuff within the network. Spanda could be on the network, Philip could be on the network. As Ethereum, at the moment we have Bitcoin and Ethereum, but imagine we could all come and become part of the blockchain, right? And Brian's folk would have different other possibilities. Why am I making this example? Is just to break it down. Okay, so if you're investing on the Ethereum network, you have different currencies. These different currencies are all projects that come to make sure that the Ethereum have value. Okay, whereas on the Bitcoin network, which in that blockchain of the Bitcoin, there are several types of Bitcoin, which in this case allows the possibility of transactions for the owners of the crypto and the miners in transacting to have liquidity. The process of having that liquidity means that the network has to evolve with different aspects within that network. Okay. So if we now look into the exchange where you have traders trading daily transactions and all of that on the Bitcoin network, allows many possibilities for you to be able to have liquidity to maneuver. Having said that, doesn't mean that you'd have to dish the Ethereum network, because the Ethereum network has a sort of security beacon chain that shifts from the proof of stake model into introducing new security considerations, such as network security with large dependent on the amount of transactions that is being transacted. That same process work with the Bitcoin blockchain network as well. So there's no difference of dishing either of the networks. You just need to understand your standpoint. Like I said, if you're a big boy and you have got enough cash to be able to invest into the Bitcoin, by all means, go ahead and do that bidding. And if you still got enough cash and want to trade on the Ethereum network, by all means, the floor is yours. In the Ethereum, you have potential opportunities with different coins that you can invest in and be able to rake in substantially good tides. So I would appreciate if we all decide to focus on the possibilities and the opportunities and the risks that are within the whole context, so that our viewers out there can understand that, okay, these guys are actually making sense about what the vulnerabilities are investing in the Bitcoin context, as well as the Ethereum. Now, how do I come in and invest on either of the network? I think this is what our focus should be on. And then we can talk about all the intricacies of the regulatory risks, the security risk, and so on. Environmental concerns, dependency of developer community, because I'm more into the developer community. So, I would rather talk about more on that. But, if you're investing, I'm not a trader, but, that's my point.
Yes, Brian, do you want to respond, or you want
Oh
me to give
yes, yes,
our audience more context? Okay, go ahead.
yes. So thanks a lot, Philip. Thanks, Dixon. So, Dixon, you unpacked a lot there, and you were very diplomatic, and you almost knocked me off my senses because then. But anyway, we had agreed earlier that whatever we're saying, we should try to show the utility. So I think it's in line with what you just reiterated. And so, babes, anything you give a talk, or you just want to listen more?
No, 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 no. Go ahead.
Okay, all right.
On mute.
Okay, should I continue? Okay, so let me go.
It's okay. But I was trying to unmute everyone.
Mhm.
Unmute.
Okay,
Yeah, but it's okay.
all right. Okay, so there are two angles I would like to attack. One from Philip, especially about the networks and how they go around, and then the second one from Dixon, which I'll start with, which is like Bitcoin Cash and stuff like that, because those are also valid reasons why Bitcoiners call other coins, and I don't want to use this one now, other coin, shitcoin. So when you look at the ideals of cryptocurrencies like decentralization, security, those things are also reflected in the implementation. So I'm sure Philip will know of this. If you see like Bitcoin transactions, when you're making those transactions sending to the blockchain, in Bitcoin, they're actually kept as what they call a Merkle tree. So think of like a family tree, right? You have an ancestor, and then let's say if the ancestor has two children, you would have like, let's say Abraham in the Bible. Abraham had uh, Isaac, and he had Ishmael, right? Then you can keep going down that tree. So now, Bitcoin takes the transactions that are kept and it puts them in some sort of a tree, but after compressing them, so in such a way that it has a way of identifying each transaction by its fingerprint. We'll call it a hash. You see, so it takes those hashes of fingerprints and creates these trees from them in such a way that it eliminates a lot of waste data. So that makes it like if you take the entire Bitcoin blockchain from 2008 and you scrape it and take just that Merkle tree, it's not up to 2 gig. I think it's at most you have 3 gigabytes. So now you have phones with 64 gigabytes. So that's how you can run Bitcoin on uh, smaller devices. So, what's the advantage of that? One is decentralization. That means we don't need a large centralized organization that has the money to buy the biggest computers to run Bitcoin. You can run it on a smaller device. So that's one thing you see in the implementation. And now, when you have things like that, it becomes easy for innovation, but Bitcoin believes in Bitcoiners and its architecture. It believes in layering. So, Philip, I'm sure you know this. If you look at the way the internet works, it works in layers. So, like if you take your router, where you are, that's the physical layer because you have a physical device, right? And then you link in your internet cable. So now you have that physical layer, you have a data layer, you have a network layer, you have a transport layer session until you have an application. So when I am sending you an email, I'm starting from that application layer. And then as I shoot it to you, it starts going down the layers until it enters your own router, which is a physical layer. So things are built layered. That's good engineering. Floor one, floor two, floor three. So one mistake that many other coins made, including Vitalik. Vitalik was actually a Bitcoiner, and he was a Bitcoiner. He was a journalist writing on Bitcoin. So one mistake that a lot of people make is they say Bitcoin is slow because it takes 10 minutes to process those transactions. So they go to build their own blockchains that are faster, or they start having bigger block sizes. In Bitcoin, there is a limit. Each block header has to be, I think, 1 kilobyte or 1 megabyte block size. That's the limit. So most people come and propose that no, if we want to do more transactions and make Bitcoin faster, let's make that block head size to be unlimited, or let it be 10 megabytes. But that's where the mistake starts coming. Because if you do it 10 megabytes, then again, it will not be decentralized because the data will be so big that an individual will not be able to run it. I don't know if that makes sense. So now, one other thing that they fail to understand is, like Sponda had explained before, Bitcoin allows us to work on with assets different from the way the normal banks do. Each coin that you have on a blockchain, be it Ethereum or Bitcoin, is an asset itself. They call it a bearer asset, although digital. So when you have this asset and you send it on the network, it takes about 1 second to get to at least 4 people. But once you send it to those 4 people, they distribute it back to the network, and you go from 1 to 4 to 16 to 32, and it starts growing exponentially as it distributes it. So what that means is, if I pay you with Bitcoin, they can always write a program in a way that whenever I can keep checking the network. Has this Bitcoin been used? Has this Bitcoin been used? Has this Bitcoin been used? So I can do that, and that will allow me to accept your Bitcoin or not. So which means I must not send that transaction to the blockchain itself. So you can pay me with Bitcoin today, and then I send it to the blockchain in 10 years, so long as I make sure that you have not double spent it. So that's what they also mean by Bitcoin solves the double spending problem. So a lot of people misunderstand that, and they think that because they say there is 10 minutes before a new batch of transactions coming, it means that Bitcoin is slow because you must wait 10 minutes. I don't know if that makes sense. So now, with that said, a lot of chains now came up, like Ethereum. That, okay, let's make the block size, the block size bigger, so we can pack in more transactions and make it faster. Then they start suffering from congestion because just a few people can run those huge data sets. That's also what caused the split to Bitcoin Cash. They made a bigger block. They made a bigger block, right? And where are they today? Look at the value. It's not even the same as Bitcoin. It's just different. You see. So anyway, I'll stop there for now and go to the other point later.
All right, Philip and Brian. So between January 11th and to date, Bitcoin has fallen over 15%, and so has Ethereum. I mean, why should we even bother about both of them? What is the case for investing in any of them? Bitcoin was listed and it's fallen 15%. Ethereum has fallen about 15%. And the gas prices are also not helping issues. So why should we even be concerned? Utility, as we mentioned. Why should we keep waiting? What is the future? Philip, I'd like you to start.
Well, I'm not an investment advisor, but I can give it my 2 pennies worth of knowledge into it, you know. And I wouldn't like to stand boldly and make any claim on that, because, like Brian clearly said, try to explain how the network works. Yeah. Today, we have issues in the marketplaces. We've got the wars going on. There is supply chain issues across the globe. There are so many things happening right now that are affecting the markets. Okay. The cryptocurrency market is been having its own problems. The other markets have been having their own issues. But what I want to emphasize on is this: the reasons to invest in the cryptocurrency at the moment all depends on the projects that are involved, right? So let's say with the Bitcoin as a project, you have within it the history of Bitcoin. On Ethereum, you have different projects that come on to create a cryptocurrency in which you can go in and invest on. And right now on the Ethereum network, there are so many things going. There are so many improvements, and there are so many other projects that, like, let's say, for example, we have the Solana as a project, which is a cryptocurrency one can invest on. We have the Cardano and so many on list of other, cryptocurrencies there. each of these projects have their lifespan. Okay. So if I or you, Brian Spander, also so Babes Dixon, and many of the viewers listening out there intend to now invest, you'd have to look at the project, right? What I mean by project is that cryptocurrency. What is their stake in the marketplace? What are they doing? Right? What happens that they are not valuable as they were a couple of weeks, months, or even days ago? You have to understand that that is to deal with the market trends, you know, from that standpoint of view. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't go in and tell you why there has been, you know, um, drops in the marketplace. The only thing I can say is that the drops in the marketplace is based on what is happening around us, you know. So if I'm investing in Solana, I will have to look keenly into Solana's drop. What is the effect within that project that have made it to drop in the exchange in terms of trading? So I would say go and look into the specific cryptocurrency that you want to invest in, what the project is all about, and how they evolve in terms of development and why they're on that specific network, if it's on the Bitcoin or on the Ethereum, if that makes sense. And I hope it
Yes.
makes sense.
Yes, it does. Brian, I want you to I want to come back to you, Brian, now. Do you still hold the same position after listening to Philip? Do you still think Bitcoin is Ethereum is a shitcoin?
Oh yes, I would always hold that, especially because of Dixon. But
You should be arrested. You need to be sent to court, bro. If you make that statement again, you need to go to court. You should be arrested and charged for blasphemous. Do you know that some countries can charge you for blasphemous? You should stop saying what you say and stop discouraging the good people listening that wants to invest on the Ethereum network. Stop discouraging people,
Yes.
Brian.
You're you're
I'm not.
you're
I'm not.
triggering. You're triggering. That question you just had just to trigger, not Philip, Dixon,
Mm.
right?
All
Because
right.
I know that he doesn't like to
This,
hear that.
this is what I'm going to tell the viewers. Listen, if you listen to Kobe Bryant, I am telling you with all my heart and all my soul, you are not going to make any money. You are not going to change your financial situation if you listen to Kobe Bryant. If you want to change your financial situation, it is easy. Go and do more research and invest wisely. Don't invest on Bitcoin only. Because when you do, you cannot wait for 10 years to gain profit. I will repeat it again. There are other millionaires out there investing on all types of coins. Go do your research, study, ask questions, and invest. Don't listen to put my 50,000 on Bitcoin, putting my 50,000, what do you call the Cameroonian money, please?
CFA.
Frank
France CFA.
CFA.
Don't go and put your 100,000 on your 100,000 of franc CFL on only Bitcoin. Don't go and put your 200,000 of of the Cameroonian money on only Bitcoin. Spread your money. And I will tell this short story. I knew people who bought Bitcoin, I think 2 years ago, when he went to his highest peak of 60, I think 65 to 66,000 US dollars. There were people I knew who bought Bitcoin. They thought it was going to go to 100,000. So they were going to make probably 40,000. Friends, they lost money. Bitcoin dropped so bad. Most of them lost money. So don't think Bitcoin is the savior, is the Holy Ghost that is going to save us. It's not saving you because when you invest your 200,000 Cameroonian money, you now have to wait for 6 to 10 years before you can get even half of what you've invested. That, in fact, half of what you've invested, that is ridiculous. That's not going
All
to
right.
take you anywhere.
Yeah, but Dixon, we can say that for all cryptocurrencies, right? Because the
No,
whole
you
crypto
cannot.
market
No, there are some cryptocurrency,
that have never fallen.
not that have never fallen, that are they put you in more positions to change your life situation. This is the difference. Bitcoin is not changing anything for you when you invest 200,000 Cameroonian money and go and wait for 10 years. You are not changing anything. You are going to remain where you are. You are
But let
going
me
to still
answer,
be where you are.
Dixon. Let me take it from here then, because I think that's also included in Sponder's question, the one Philip answered about the price. So if I answer that, you probably get my response.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't say shitcoin. Uh,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah,
so,
trigger. That's a
so
trigger
anyway,
warning here.
yeah. So Sponder, you had asked about like the volatility, right?
Mhm.
So now everything is volatile. Like if you look at the US dollar relative to France CFA, it changes, right? Today maybe 600, tomorrow 650, things like that change. If you look at Amazon, you look that's why there's even a stock market, because people go there
Mhm.
to gamble. It's like a casino, you
Mhm.
see. But if we look at why those things change, like Philip had mentioned, it's also based on the surroundings. It could be a war that's happening somewhere.
Mhm.
It could be that something has been banned. Like in Nigeria, the government banned Bitcoin, that's banks, from sending money, exchanging money with Bitcoin exchanges. And that's also one of the places where you test what they call anti-fragility of Bitcoin. How fragile is it? They banned that, but Nigerians, as other people, they are doing peer to peer, meet under the
Mhm.
bridge, you meet beside Kati, and that's why they had built this currency, so that there's no central institution that can come and stop you from using it. So now, how do these networks fight against this volatility? So that's also one reason why the economics of Bitcoin is the way it is. Bitcoin has a deflationary release cycle. So now what happens is, as people are doing these transactions, there are other people called miners, and anyone is free to join. It's a competitive
Mhm.
market. There are other people called miners that have to listen for incoming transactions, and then they sort them according to the transaction fees. So they would
Mhm.
normally take the ones with the higher fees, and
Mhm.
then process them to add them on the blockchain. And they use that process we call proof of work. So now when
Mhm.
they do that, if the first person to succeed in solving that puzzle and updating the record is rewarded with new Bitcoin. And that's how
Mhm.
Bitcoin are made. So in 2008, the reward was 50 Bitcoin. And every 4 years, it gets in half. So now it's
Mhm.
6.25 Bitcoin. And in April, that's 2 months from now, it's going to get to 3.125 something, something Bitcoin. So that you see now that they had already calculated the game theory they would use to fight that volatility. So what does it mean? If every 4 years the amount of Bitcoin released is halved, it means the coin gets scarcer and scarcer over time. And when it
Mhm.
cuts in half, it means demand automatically doubles. And that's why if you start checking, Bitcoin went to 64,000 after May of 2020, because that was the other halving it had. It was first of all releasing like 12 point, I think 12.5 Bitcoin, no 13, something like that Bitcoin, and then he slashed it into half. You see, so now, uh, like I said, whenever the supply cuts in half, they call it the halvening in the Bitcoin network. Whenever
Mhm.
it cuts in half, demand automatically doubles. So
Double.
within the next month, you see, like this year, don't be surprised if you hear that one Bitcoin is 250,000 or one Bitcoin is 1 million. It's because of this, of things like this when it cuts in half. And then another thing about the prices, uh, I come from the school, and most Bitcoiners, they come from the mindset or the philosophy of libertarianism, which at the core of it is property management. So I want to be able to manage my property in a way that no one can take it from me because it's mine. You see, and the core of that is I want a system that can hold this property from me in a way that no one can inflate it, no one can seize it. And that's the core of Bitcoin. So, and it's for that reason that last time we were saying for a start, put what you don't want to lose because it is something that you want to keep. If you look at regular investors, when they buy houses, like in the States, you have 30 years to pay it, right? So you're looking at that house as a 30-year journey. So the Bitcoiners come and look at it too, like, all right, when you're keeping that Bitcoin, look 30 years ahead, but know that every 4 years, for example, the demand will double. And then my last point is uh, in terms of volatility to every year Bitcoin increases. It for the past up to like 2023, it increases 100% every year. That's if you put 1,000 francs like now, by next year, same time you have 2,000. So now it's beginning to reduce up to like 80. So it goes to like 80% to 100. And it's for that reason that Bitcoiners always say use Bitcoin as a store of value, put your money there and think long term. Thanks for
All right.
listening.
So Brian threw in another technical curveball.
Can I
Mining is not as
can I
easy
can
as
I
it.
answer that, please?
Yeah, yeah, I'll come to you later, Dixon. Let me just help our viewers with all of these technical terms. So mining is not as easy as it sounds. Before it used to be easy, but now you need to have a computer that solves a complex mathematical equation, and then you get a part of the transaction. So for each of those transactions, you can get like a percentage of the transaction value. That is what you pay every time you do a Bitcoin transaction, and part of that money goes to a miner. It is heavy in electricity consumption, and also the machinery is also very expensive. So you people should know that. Dixon, go ahead.
um, I want to speak to all the young Africans listening, and that is going to listen in the future. The actual purpose of this program, this educative program, is to educate young Africans on how they can be successful financially. That is the basic fundamental content why we are even discussing. And I'll ask my viewers this question. Do you want to brag as a Bitcoin holder when your financial situation remains the same? Or you want to believe that tomorrow, yes, you can actually get there to become a millionaire in your in your local currency? This is the question you need to ask yourself before you invest. And I'll be giving this one out for free. If you are out there, you want to know about coins, you want to know about how these coins work, you want to know more about coins, you can go to your app store or you can go to your Google Play Store and download an app that is called Coin Market App. It is called Coin Market App. You can see all the coins that exist in the last 2000, since 2013, since when Bitcoin was first created. You see all the coins that exist on this planet. You see it on that app. And you can also trace the rate of growth of that coin still on that app. Don't listen to me or you listen to Brian. You can also do this on your own. That's why I'm giving this. The name of the app is Coin Market Cap. You can go there and search on your own and understand it. If you don't know how to understand it, it's very simple. You can go on YouTube and there's a video on how they can tell you how you can understand it. And this is very easy to use. And when you go there, you can see the growth of many coins. And for example, I'll just give you one example. A coin like Solana that my friend, good friend Philip mentioned about, in February this year, February last year, that coin was about around $6 per one Solana coin. $6. Most people, most young Africans can afford that. At least $6. As I'm speaking to you now, that same coin is now $93. $93. But the same people who've invested on Solana back in February, maybe they bought like 10, 15 Solana. By now, They've made money. So this is what Dixon is bringing to this education, like this educating video we are doing right now. This is what I am bringing. I am telling you, sitting down there listening to my voice, there are other investments that can change your life. Don't brag and say, yes, I'm putting $100 on Bitcoin. No, you are not going anywhere with $100 investment on Bitcoin. I am telling you, I know so, I have seen it, and there's nothing that will happen in your life. But if you take $100 and invest on other young blockchain that are coming up, I am telling you, within 2 years, even within 8 months, your situation will change. Just like the example I just gave you. If you have bought Solana in February 2023, go and make your research. Don't believe what I'm saying. Go and make your
Okay,
research. The price of Solana. And by now,
Dixon,
your situation will have
Dixon,
changed. Yes.
Dixon. Also, in just to really let our viewers have a better picture, if you bought Solana in 2021, it would have been $249.
Good question.
And today it would have been $92. What do you have to say to people who
Good question.
actually entered the market at that time?
Good question. Now, this is what I keep telling people. When there is a bull run, do not go into the cryptocurrency. At that time, you were saying there was a bull run. When there is a bull run, do not go into the cryptocurrency. Wait before you can go in. Don't go on the bull run, because when you go on the bull run, most of those coins, they are very high. And before you go, the question you just asked me, before Solana went to 200 and something euros, there were people who bought it before that time too. They also made lots of
Exactly.
money. So this is why I'm telling you that this whole cryptocurrency thing is a risk. Yes, that's why I keep telling Social Big the last time. I was saying this thing is risky. There's a lot of risk on it, but there's also a lot of money to be made. So that's why I am telling our viewers right now that if you want to change your situation, you can't just put $100 on Bitcoin. You're not changing anything. You're not going to worth anything in the next 5 years. Do you know how much Bitcoin need to grow for your $100 need to get to $1,000? Do you know what that is? Do you know that's waiting forever? That's actually waiting forever. So
And
there's
I think
other coins that can change your life.
if I may come in for a little bit. So, and I think what this is where there's a little bit of gray lining, right? When we are talking of, I can see Mr. Nze also. Thank you for joining, bro, and the Roy Mama Shah. I see all of you in the comment section. I see a little bit of gray lining when we start talking of you can buy it today and in 8 months it will be this. Personally, when I look at again, when I started considering Bitcoin, it is more I look at it more as a future investment. And that is the way I interpret Bitcoin. You get it? So I feel like if we start looking at Bitcoin and comparing it to trading, that is when it's a little bit, I think you lose people like me. Okay, it's like people like us. Again, there are a couple of people out there who are like me who do not have a perfect understanding. Because if you say today, if I decide to invest $1,000 into Bitcoin, I'm not expecting that by tomorrow, or sorry, by in the next 5 or 6 months, I should have $4,000 or $5,000. Somebody like me getting into that market, I am looking at the long-term profit. So that is how I've always interpreted it. That's how I've always interpreted the stock market. I know that again, there are things that there are some coins that, or maybe even stocks that kind of escalated within a short time and people made money. But when I'm looking at cryptocurrency in particular, personally, I am looking at a 5, 10, 15-year range. You get it? So I don't know if what do you people have to say about those of us who look at, I don't consider Bitcoin a get rich quick, a 6 months growth thing. I look at it like, okay, if I can invest 10 grand today, in the next 5 years or 10 years, I should see something more. Right. So that's how I look at it. I don't know if maybe I'm off track or something, but that's why we're
Yeah,
having this
I can
conversation.
add something to that. Thanks a lot for bringing that up. And one of the reasons I keep pushing about Bitcoin is, and most of the school of thought like you, so babes, is mostly the store of value, right? Like you can store value there that and no one can inflate it for you. One Bitcoin will always be one Bitcoin, no matter how it's reflected in France CFA or US dollars. So, but coming from that school of thought of storing, one thing that we're ignoring is that when you're dealing with value, value itself in its purest sense makes you better. So one of them is not just you saving for more value, but it teaches you that if I can put my value here and it's captured and kept safely, then what if I go look for more value? So now, with Africa is a rising star in economies, especially the digital economy. We have comedians today, we have podcasters like you, we have moderators. I will not be surprised if in the next 2 years there will be a whole brand of people, moderators, and Z, we know today that he's the godfather of that. Right, you can have moderators that their job is to moderate shows. You have comedians, you have artists, but one problem we have now is that the currencies are weaponized and geopoliticized. You can use franc CFA in Egypt. You can use US dollar in Burundi or whatever. So, but you may be a content producer and you have fans all over the world. How do they pay you? You see, so but with things like Bitcoin, Mr. Nze, for example, is a comedian. You would have people in Dubai that want to support you. Maybe they don't have Momo. You have people in Nigeria. Nigerians themselves, they have people across the world. Facebook today has what they call Facebook stars. But that alone, not all your fans are able to access that. You see, so with things like Bitcoin and all the security it gives you and the technologies it gives you, uh, uh, how decentralized it is, you can start using it and saying, okay, you can send me support. This is my Bitcoin address. And if we start doing that, you see that, like I said, value changes people. Most of us
Mhm.
today, we see money as what we can spend, but that's not really what money is or wealth. Wealth is not something, it's not the number of bonbon that I can go and buy or the number of chicken that I can buy with my money. There's value, especially the one that you can hold along and hand over to your generations to come. So things like Bitcoin with the security it gives you, it's from that angle that I come to my brothers and sisters that if you're already producing something, convert that your sweat to Bitcoin, right? And it to be able to hold it there for ages.
Okay. Yes. Let me respond to Soso Babes' question that she had. Like, if she invested her money in Bitcoin 10 years from now, where is she going to be? I want to give you historical data from the very website that Dixon, thank you for this website that he gave me. If you invested in Bitcoin in 2014, one Bitcoin would have been $300, and today one of those Bitcoins would be $40,000. So if you invested $1,000 then, today you'll be having $120,000 if you did not pull out, if you just stayed and held up to this point. But if you pulled out somewhere around 2021, you would have been at $60,000. That means your money would have had today would have been almost $200,000. So historical data is showing that most of these cryptocurrencies, not the shit ones, are taking us into a place for long-term investment. But Rand is making a case for geographical and agnosticity when it comes to the coin. That means you can use it anywhere. I want to go to Roy Mama. Roy Mama asked, so this is a banking system. I want anybody who has something to say about that to respond. She's saying that the whole all of this cryptocurrency, is it just a banking system?
No,
Philip, now's a good
actually,
time to jump in.
okay, then
Yeah,
let's
go
go.
ahead, Dixon.
Philip should take the floor. I think he's better off on
Philip,
answering such questions.
this is just a banking system. That's what one of our viewers is asking.
Um, Bitcoin and Ethereum are much more than a banking system, to be honest. You
Mhm,
know, they are decentralized digital currency and blockchain platforms, which are unique. Which their unique characteristics and broader implications are beyond traditional banking systems. Okay.
mhm,
So Bitcoin being a decentralized currency operates on a decentralized network that
mhm,
gives you control of a single entity, which you don't have government in control or the
mhm,
banks itself. It is a peer-to-peer system, right? where transactions occur directly between the users on that network. So, in other words, no, it's not a banking system, but it's a financial service kind of system.
Okay. So I have a question for all these Bitcoin gurus. Philip, what percentage of your portfolio is cryptocurrency? What percent?
I
Your
would say
investment portfolio.
I would say my investment portfolio at this moment in time, today's value, is around 32%.
Crypto? 32% cryptocurrency.
Yep.
Okay. Dixon, what percentage of your portfolio is cryptocurrency?
Mine is at 78%.
Good. So Philip has all his money in Bitcoin. But Kobe, what percentage of your portfolio is cryptocurrency?
100.
100. So the reason I'm asking this question is for users to understand that we're not just talking the talk. These guys are walking the walk. They're putting their money where their mouth is. So it adds credibility to what they're saying. But I have another question. Why is it that it is too hard to catch on for people like us? It feels like this is just for the tech heads. A lot of people, is there a problem with the way we communicate the whole Web3? I just threw in another word there. So the whole Web3 platform that it makes it harder for the everyday person to catch on. I work for
Can
an
I?
organization
This
that,
is me. I am the
yes,
one to respond to this.
yes,
It is
Dixon,
because
good.
of Kobe Bryant. The problem is because of Kobe Bryant. Eh? He speaks all types of English and keeps modifying it, putting key, putting that, throwing it, throwing things everywhere. How can young Africans understand? It is because of Kobe Bryant. Look at him sitting down there. He is the one that is making it extremely difficult for young Africans to understand. Look at people like Mr. Inze. He understands me so well, and it's just like he was like, "Yeah, Dixon, this is what you're my man. This is what we're saying." Every other Africans that are listening to my voice right now, they can understand what I am saying. I could break this thing down. It is Kobe Bryant that is sitting down there makes it extremely difficult. That when you hear him speaking, you feel like going and jumping from the roof, or maybe killing yourself, or jumping into the lagoon because you cannot understand what he's saying. So that's why we are here to make
All right.
young Africans millionaire. So for those Africans out there that wants to become millionaire, you don't need to worry. I am going to break it down for you. Don't listen to Kobe Bryant. He talks about key, he talks about security. He talks about everything that will turn your brain upside down. Come, I will break it down for you. Just like
All right.
someone was asking about that coin cap. I don't know who was asking about that coin cap. And okay, it's Mr. Inze. Yeah, Coin Market Cap. Yeah, that's what it is. Go there, download it on your phone. You're not going to get it just one day, but take easy. Go on YouTube. If you don't know how to understand it yet,
I'll put it in
go
the
on
comment
YouTube,
section.
take classes. Yes, on the comment section. Then I'll put it on the comment
I'll
section
put
now.
it.
Take
I've
take
already put it
classes
in.
on YouTube. Okay. Take classes on YouTube. They will tell you how to understand it. But if you are a fast learner, you just get it once. But it's extremely easy. People like Kobe Bryant will not say things like this. You keep coming here and talking about key. I don't know what key he is talking about. So I am here to make sure young
It simplifies.
Africans, yes, young Africans share from this international breakthrough to
Thank
make
you,
money
Dixon.
on your own.
Thank you, Dixon.
Yes,
You
so
see, that's why you're my
we're gonna keep
brother.
breaking it down.
That's
Okay,
why
so
you're
I
my
have a
brother.
question for all of you people, and I know that this is what our viewers want to hear. Our viewers want to know, in the short term, if you're looking for a short term gain from cryptocurrency as a whole, is it gambling? Is it
I
different from
I
gambling?
think so. Yeah, I think it's gambling. That's why like another word that like Bitcoiners use for like shit coins, they always say like shitcoin casino.
Casino. So, what is short term?
Oh, good question. So short term is usually like 1 week, 1 month, and then I would say up to 3 years because it's under like one halvening cycle.
Okay. So 3 years.
You see what I
Okay.
mean? Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
from 0.1 minute, right, or a fraction of a minute to like under 3 years, because I'm looking at, remember the what I was saying about halving, because when
Mhm.
the moment it halves, demand automatically doubles. So
Yes.
I can say that short term now will be like within one cycle, if that makes sense.
So when is the next cycle happen? When is the next happening cycle?
February, April, sorry, like this.
April 2024.
Yes, April 2024.
Okay. So do you recommend that we invest then or after then? Before
Uh,
then?
so that's a thick
No,
question.
let me put the question so that it
Yeah,
should not feel like we're giving financial advice.
yeah,
Would
exactly.
you invest then, on, or before?
I would say before, because like for most Bitcoiners, like buying Bitcoin is a habit. To me, it's like a sport, right? Like every day. Sometimes I Z you and I even used to do this. Every time, sometimes it's like a sport. $100, $100, $100, $100. You do that for days until when money is finished, you go look for more. You see. So to me, it's just a habit. I'm not sure about others.
Yes. So Brian, when I spoke to Brian one time, I was in a financial conundrum. I was thinking I had an extra laptop, and I was thinking about selling that laptop, but I was thinking that I will not get the value for that laptop if I sold it. Brian told me, "What's the worst that could happen? Sell it. Take the money that you can get and put it in Bitcoin. The laptop just sitting at home with you is going to be dropping in value. But if you leave it in Bitcoin, take this laptop 10 years from now and take Bitcoin 10 years from now, definitely you would have made more money." I almost sold everything in my house that I was not using. I had to put that money in Bitcoin because by that mindset, I'm like, I don't even watch TV. Why do I have a freaking 85-inch TV? If I sell it today, I will not be able to get the money that I got when I bought it. But 10 years from now, this TV is not going to be anything for me. But 10 years from now, definitely the money is going to look more handsome. So that is, although Dixon is correct when he says that Brian has a very complex way of explaining things. But Brian, you see that analogy just so I was sold on it. Very simple without mentioning keys. Philip,
No,
do you want to jump in?
yeah,
Philip, do you want to
definitely.
jump in there?
Absolutely. I think the perception of short-term gains to your viewers and listeners in cryptocurrency as gambling depends on the mindset and the approach and
Mhm,
understanding of you as an investor. So you as an investor, if you're trying to invest, okay, it's mindset, right? If you consider it to be gambling, it's all about your mindset and the approach you take. Okay. Cryptocurrency markets are known for high volatility, which can lead to substantial gains or losses. All right. Remember, mindset and approach, in a short term or in a long period of time. Okay. So if you have a mindset to consider, you have to look into the high volatility and the speculation. These
mhm,
are things to consider as an investor and your mindset. I'm looking at, okay, what is the high volatility of this particular coin? What
mhm,
is the speculation of X coin, right?
mhm,
In that context, I'll be looking at the price fluctuations, you know,
mhm,
the significant experiences that swings in short-term periods and in long-term, which influence the factors of the market sentiment and the news, the regulatory, the things happening around within that, that coin. Then
mhm,
I'll have to also look at the speculative nature of that coin. Remember, mindset and approach. So now let's say I have a portfolio of my portfolio in my pocket. I have $1,000 to play around with,
mhm,
right? So my mindset is I get this X coin. I'm going to put
mhm,
$50 on that X coin. All right. I'll
mhm,
put this, based on the price fluctuations, the speculative
mhm,
nature, and so on and so forth. So that is one context. If
mhm,
you are thinking of it as a gambling context, or like I say, all depends on your mindset. Then you have to also look into investment versus gambling. Is your mindset in the context of investing? or is your approach in the context of gambling? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if your mindset is in the context of investing, then you have to do research and organize your mental block with a strategy, you know, where
Mm-hmm.
you conduct a thorough research, you use analytical tools to understand the nature of the coin, the price fluctuation and all about that. I mean, what I'm saying here is for your viewers and listeners who are thinking of investing, you know, to consider. You're not necessarily going to gamble, but it has a similar approach in gambling. Okay.
Great.
So you also have to look at your emotion driven decision to that. You have to also consider that factor because they all form that mindset. So your emotions, which drives your decision, rely on luck, gut feeling, or emotional reaction without any clear, strategy, which you might find yourself taking actions that resemble gambling. You
Mm-hmm.
know, in your context, Brenda, you had an advice from a very good
Mm-hmm.
friend and brother. Dude, you have items around you that you can use to generate resources that you can then use it into. So you're taking all the investment that you had made and are there redundantly, you converted them into another resource. That's the mindset of investing. So you took that mindset and then sold those items, got resources, which gave you the power of purchase to then invest, right? That's the mindset. Now, in your investing, you obviously went on Bitcoin. So you done your research or the research done by Brian, which helped
Mm-hmm.
you to move on to that particular coin, right? You put your money into that context, which is the Bitcoin in that context, you know. But right now, you don't have only the Bitcoin, you have the Ethereum network, which on the
Mm-hmm.
Ethereum network, you have so many other potentials. Now, those potentials are projects where you can then do your research and strategy. So if I
Mm-hmm.
want to invest into a new coin that is about to be launched, right?
Mm-hmm.
At if I have remember my $1,000 in my pocket, I had
Mm-hmm.
used $50 to do some, buy some X coin, and now there are new other coins that are introduced. In my mind, I have an exit of getting that coin and exiting at a particular period of time because I've done my research and understand the speculation, of the risk involved. So here comes the risk management, which you have to have as a mindset as an investor, right?
Yes.
And then acknowledging the risk and potential for the loss is a crucial aspect of the cryptocurrency in trading when you buy. You know, doing that, you then have to think about diversification, where you have to diversify your investment,
Mm-hmm.
which can help you manage your risks. You know,
Mm-hmm.
rather than putting all funds into a single cryptocurrency or trade. In this case, you decide to go on the Bitcoin, but I might
Mm-hmm.
decide to go on the Bitcoin and then look into
Mm-hmm.
the Ethereum network. What X coins are available within that network that I can even push and then generate more within a period of time because I have made my mindset properly fit into it. You get me? Then
Yes.
you also have to look at a regulatory perspective, you know, in the case of lack of regulations.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously as an investor, at this point, you have to have market knowledge, understand the markets to which each of those currencies I mean, cryptocurrencies are in. So if you
Mm-hmm.
look at the Solana, for example, you'd have to go and look at what is Solana project all about, which sector is Solana in, etc. And what
Mm-hmm.
what drives that currency speculative wise, and what makes it go up and down. You have to understand all of that, and then you then consider your long term. Am I going to be focusing on the long term? So you just put
Mm-hmm.
that investment for, in your case was a Bitcoin, so you did it for a long term because if you have it a Bitcoin, you always go on the long term.
Mm-hmm.
I personally consider if I'm putting a two pennies worth of my cash each time into Bitcoin is for a long term. You know, that is my consideration as for me as an individual. You know, here I'm talking about the long and the short term. Now, for my short term investment, I then go into the Ethereum networks and then look at the cryptocurrencies that are within that network and then see which is doing well or not, mainly focusing on the project and then invest into it. So I think all of this we have to consider mainly on the mindset and the approach.
Thank you very much. So I want our viewers to come out of this
It's my turn.
handsomely.
You're not giving me my opportunity to speak.
You will. Just now, I'll give you a very good opportunity, Dixon.
Okay.
But I know we've kept people for 2 hours, so I want to make sure that we end on a very strong note, on a place where everybody can come out and say, we are very satisfied. In the stock market, there's something called an index fund. For those of you who don't understand, it is the selection of particular stocks that are most likely to perform very well. S&P 500 will say, oh, they'll pick Tesla, they'll pick Microsoft. They'll combine all of these, and if you give $100, they take your $100 and invest $1 in each of these companies. Despite what happens, you must have like a 5 to 8% growth over the years. So with this amount of knowledge here, I want us to build an index crypto fund where our viewers can say, if I have $100, I'm going to spread it across these 5 cryptocurrencies, spread my risk properly, and be able to have some good returns. Remember, my advice is just use residual income. Like me, I just went in, I saw some my OTV, put it on Facebook Market. I bought it like $120. They gave me $50. I took the $50 and boom. So you can use all of these assets that as certain, like flat screens. Once the year passes, they drop drastically. So to the users, we can take this residual income, money that we didn't know was there, put it on Facebook Market. Brian, please, apart from Bitcoin, list 5 cryptocurrencies that you would consider for the long term. And then we're going to combine all of this, and our users now can choose 5 out of these 15.
Bro, it's not his turn. It's not his turn.
It will be,
I wouldn't
okay,
take
let's start
time.
with you, Dixon.
This
Okay.
is not right. It's not his turn. It's not his
Okay,
turn.
Dixon. So
This is
start,
not
give me
right.
five
Yeah,
top without
before
Bitcoin.
before I give you 5 stuff, but let me
Yes.
go and answer the question you asked earlier. You
Yes.
asked if
It's gambling.
it was gambling, yeah, and Kobe Bryant said yes, and Mr. Phillips said it's the mindset. But this is what I have to say. It is the international market opportunity. I'll repeat it again. International market opportunity. Fast away from poverty, of course. Fast away from poverty. Cryptocurrency is one of the quickest way to transform your life in an instant if you know what you are doing. It happened to me. It happened to Mr. Philip. Mr. Philip knows, he knows that I am a trader. He knows many coins. I have told him, like, dude, get into this. You're going to get something out. He's listening. He knows. And many of my friends worldwide, they know what we speak. We speak amongst ourselves, and we give ideas among ourselves. We predict coins among ourselves. So this is not something I speak, it's something we do. You see, back in, for example, you go to Nigeria, you see young boys driving big cars, doing good things, and people just think, no, if you go more than everywhere in Lagos, there are investors everywhere. You can pass the street when you see 10, 6, 10, 20 boys doing the crypto market. It's everywhere. So this is a secret and a knowledge we have to share for our African brothers too. There is absolute cash on this thing. So if you do your research properly and you understand what you're doing, of course, there is hope for you. Success is not based on one place particularly. It's everywhere. So that's why I'm trying to take my time to explain to all the young Africans listening and the people who are listening that will go and tell other people. Sure, it is very, very possible. So don't have that mindset only on this is it, it's Bitcoin. No, there are millionaires coming out with other coins. So this crypto whole thing, I see it as an international market opportunity that can take you out of poverty with an instant. So for that, I have clarified that ground. So I think Brian
Great.
can list his five, then I'll go
No,
on
we'll just
last.
continue with you, Dixon. We'll just
Okay.
continue with you. You have the floor.
All right.
Five with Bitcoin without Ethereum.
All right. Do you want? Oh, I shouldn't put Ethereum, right?
Don't put Ethereum, yeah.
All right. For example, I have
I
to
have a pen and a
declare.
paper for those of you listening. Yes.
Because on this one, I'll personally beat Brian, of course. All right. I am not a financial advisor.
No, no, of course, we have
I
established
cannot
that.
tell you, yeah, but what if I have money now? You give me some money and you ask me invest this money on 5 coins. What are the coins? First of all, the first coin that has breaking grounds as I am speaking right now is called Conji AI coin. It is the fastest growing coin on the market. It's called Conji AI coin. Do you want me to write it?
No, no, it's fine. I'll,
Yes.
I'll, I'll share with the users. Just go
Yes, it's
ahead.
called
Okay.
Conji AI coin. It's a coin affiliated with robot designing. People who are designing robots, they use the technology on doing stuff, on upgrading. That's what they use it for. So that coin is here to stay and it's keep growing. It's going so fast and it's breaking records. So that would be the first coin I would definitely put my money.
Okay.
Then, what is the second coin that if I have money, I will invest in? The second coin that I would put my money, if you give me some money right now, is called the Kronos coin. It's called Kronos. This this is the coin that is owned by the crypto.com. This coin continues growing in a rapid, slow rate. It doesn't fall behind. It just keeps appreciating little by little. If you can get your hands on 1,000 of that coin right now, I can guarantee you, within the short future, you can have times 3 of what you've already invested. The Kronos
Okay.
coin is another good coin that can be looked at for.
So Kanji AI is Kanji,
No,
right?
no, it's
How's
not
it
K,
spelled?
it's C.
C.
Yes,
Can you please spell it?
yes, I'll do that right now.
All right. Kanji AI coin Kronos. Okay.
It's C-O,
Mm-hmm.
arrow G,
All right, I've
I
seen it.
E
Korji.
I-E-L, yeah. Yes,
Yes, Korji. Yes. All right.
Koji AI. It is
I'll
the
put it so people can
fastest.
see it on market cap.
Yes, within the last 1 month, it is the fastest growing coin.
Okay.
So my
Next
third
one.
coin,
You said what's the second
is
one?
called Kronos. It's called Crow.
Chronos.
C
I've
R
seen
O,
it.
just
Okay.
Crow. Yeah, Crow.
Crow.
Yes,
Chro.
yes.
Okay.
That is the coin of the future too. And if you give me some money and say, okay, dude, go out there and make me 100K and make me more coin, yeah. So what would be the next one I would like to put my money? It's called Solana.
Okay.
Solana. Let me tell you something about Solana. Solana is the second largest blockchain coin out there after Ethereum. Solana. So Solana coin is that coin that one day we might see having this same price cap like Ethereum over 2,000 plus because Ethereum started like this. So that is the third coin I would definitely want to put my money on.
Okay. Fourth coin.
The fourth coin I would like to buy if I'm being given some money to buy some coins. It will be second. It will be a coin called Decentraland.
Yeah, I know that one.
Decentraland is a metaverse coin.
Yes, Mana.
And what Brian does not know, while we're trying to school him, is that soon most things is going to be on the metaverse. The metaverse will be so big and so popular, it's going to be another word created on its own. So the things associated with metaverse, if you invest on it now, bag of money, that's what I feel.
Full disclosure, I bought some land on the metaverse. It went down to 0.1. I bought it for $10. I mean,
Decentraland. Did you buy Decentraland?
No, not the Decentraland. I went into the metaverse and I bought land.
Yeah, the metaverse thing is still new. You must are still trying to. What was that? People are buying lands on it. People are buying cars on it. It's still new. People are buying houses.
A concert on it.
Yeah, people are buying houses on it. People are not buying studios on it. It's still new, right?
Yeah. Philip, you'll come in. Let me just get Dixon's fifth coin and then you add. Dixon,
Can I
your fifth
go
coin? Yes.
All right. The last coin, if you give me some money and I would like to invest on, it's called the Cardano network. Cardano network is still like the Solana network. It's based on Ethereum. My friend made mention of it earlier. It looks very cheap right now, and people can take advantage and get on it. But I'm telling you, within the short future, that price is going to rise. Of course, it's going to rise because there are not much blockchain out there that is reliable. So those are some of the best buy for me personally.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. So I'll post, I think it's Cardano. I'll post, yes, yours in the comment sections. Please jump in, Philip.
Now, I just wanted to add with regards to the Decentraland, adding to my previous comment that earlier on, if you do want to invest, into a cryptocurrency, Decentraland at this moment, it's a very good opportunity because it has a long-term and a short-term potential to consider. The long-term potential is if you are an investor, a new investor, you have to think about it in two ways: the long term and in the short term. The long term is within that network, there are other potentials that you can invest in, and then in the short term, trading wise, you could also think about trading with the Decentraland coin because it has a greater potential for investment. Because the reason why I'm saying this, it's a network that is going to become seriously a valued network. Let's say come early 2025, because at the moment, Brian could attest to this, there are so many deployments of projects in terms of the virtual reality environment going on to the Decentraland, where a lot of actions are happening there. Now, when I say actions are happening there, you have to consider those projects that have been deployed onto that platform or that network, right? So it is a coin for whomever is thinking of investing now to really put keen interest into it because it's going to really generate long-term as well as short-term.
Thank you very much. Philip, I'm sorry, Dixon, I've published your list for the users. Use as you please. Philip, over to you. Let's get your list. No Ethereum, no Bitcoin.
No Ethereum, no Bitcoin.
It means I don't have a list now when my time comes.
You have to come up with a list, Brian. There's no way you can be monolithic. What is this?
All right.
Yes, go ahead, Philip.
I'm going to go with Ripple.
Okay, Ripple,
X,
RIPPLE.
yep, XRP is the code name for, Ripple is expected to potentially climb significantly in the short to mid-term, right?
Okay,
It faces challenges, including resistance at certain price points and regulatory concerns, but it's a coin that is, significantly going to be climbing. Okay.
XRP is backed by the healthcare, by
Right.
healthcare innovations. All right, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
So,
I've heard.
I always look at the project. I always look at the project
Yeah,
and what it involves,
that's a very good one. I remember it's also we talked about how healthcare projects are popping up.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a nice one. Okay,
All right. And then there is also Polygon. You have it
Polygon.
Matic.
Yes.
At the moment, analysis suggests that it has a potential 50% rally for Polygon, making it a significant player in action market, for
Okay.
altcoin. So its performance is influenced by various market dynamics, including, whale activities and broader market trends. So you know, it's a network of its own which defines the flow of markets. And then
Great.
I know most of you have heard about it. It's a coin that, it's called Dogecoin. All right, Doge.
Yes.
Dogecoin is showing positive indicators for potential growth, you know, but it's
Mm-hmm.
highly yearly inflation is rate decreases all the time, but it's a coin that if you want to trade or for long, I'm just giving you both short, mid-term, and long-term, all right, to
Mm-hmm.
consider. And then there is another one that I love mostly because I'm part and parcel of the project called Polkadot, which is
Yes.
DOT.
Yeah, I've had both of that. Yeah.
If you're in the gaming industry, because that is what holds decentralization in terms of the gaming industry, because Polkadot is a coin that everyone should be looking. I mean, if you invest in now, you should look into mostly. Okay.
Okay.
Uniswap, Uni.
Yes. Uniswap. Yeah. I've used that as well. I mean, I've been in the Ethereum space for very long, so you're speaking a language I'm very too familiar with.
Okay. So these are the coins that I can suggest for now, and each project has its own way of evolving. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that before you take that time, go and look at the project itself, you know,
Yes.
before
Good.
making decisions.
10 coins we have. Brian, please don't make it 11. We
Please,
want 50
yeah,
coins.
yeah. So Vibes and Z, you know how complicated that, please. So let me
Oh,
just make it Bitcoin because it's supposed to be Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin,
Brian,
Bitcoin,
you need to
Bitcoin.
you have another coin that you have flirted with.
But I can now show you. So and I think this is where I may meet with Dixon or tell him some things that he probably doesn't know I know, or maybe contribute even with Philip. So
Mm-hmm.
I would go Bitcoin 5 times, but you said you're from the Ethereum space. You know of wrapped Bitcoin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have noticed, sometimes to the one of the reasons Ethereum goes up is always when Bitcoin starts going up. You have a lot of wrapped Bitcoin in Ethereum, like there are even times that the Ethereum guys used to joke that they have more Bitcoin locked up than the actual Bitcoin blockchain because they have wrapped a lot of Bitcoin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now there are money markets, and this is not in investment advice, but these are all experiments I've been doing in this domain that I would like to share now, and I've never had the chance to share, especially with Dixon. So one thing about these decentralized apps is they come to kind of recreate the financial world we know, but using the decentralized tools. You see, so we'll still have money markets, we'll still have means where you can go borrow money, we'll still have places where you can swap, like you mentioned, Uniswap. So
Mm-hmm.
one approach that I do, and maybe some Bitcoiners too, is work as hard as I can, get Bitcoin, stash as much as I can, and then I go now to money markets and go start dropping my Bitcoin. So I can drop Bitcoin and you use for sales or for settling trades, and I'm earning rewards. I don't know if you see what I mean. So, and I'm
Mhm.
earning rewards. So, you in the Ethereum space, you probably know some of those platforms. I've not done that in the Ethereum space, but I'm used to two platforms. One is called Sovereign,
Mhm.
excuse me, one is called Sovereign, and one is called Kava. So, you can go there. Some of them also have what they call a mint, where you could go deposit money and then borrow. You see,
Yes,
so
I think you introduced me
yeah,
to that platform.
yes, I'll show you that, right? Like, so
Mhm.
most investors, so we were laughing earlier that like Donald Trump, he will go borrow money and then go build a hotel and then report to the government that he borrowed money, so the government will actually give him money again because you see, so most billionaires and investors, they don't spend their money. You use it as assets to borrow more. So
Again,
what I
yeah.
do, one reason I always stash Bitcoin and keep it is because there are times when I could go, let's say for example, if one Bitcoin is now it's 40,000, right? I could keep one Bitcoin in the platform and then I borrow like maybe 20,000 or $15,000 out of that. You see, so now, and the interesting thing about this way is um, you pay based on a liquidation price. So they could say, okay, if you've borrowed $20,000, if Bitcoin gets to 25,000, then you'll be liquidated. You see, so that's how that goes. So so long as you know that your collateral has not gone down enough for you to be liquidated, you can keep borrowing or keep stashing and adjusting that balance. You see, so then another one is swap. There, like you mentioned, Uniswap, where they swap coins, you
Mhm.
can swap
Yes.
Bitcoins. If you could actually go drop, create a basket. They always like an index, right? Since you mentioned an
Mhm.
index, so you can create instead. I'll create an index where maybe I have USDX or some stable coin and then Bitcoin on the other side. You see, so now whenever someone is swapping between those two pairs, they will use my coins to settle that trade, and then I'll earn rewards. You see, so that's how I use my
Mhm.
coin as opposed to like buying coins and hoping that
Mhm.
this and things like that. And it's something that I will teach people, but I want them to first of all understand Bitcoin until they have their feet affirmed. Then I can get to that part, if that makes sense.
Yes. So we have Brian. Thank you for your five Bitcoin choices. I've posted it. Five Bitcoin choices, but Brian, your five cryptocurrency choices, which are five Bitcoin choices.
Can I can
And
I
now
come in,
I think
please?
yes, Dixon, go ahead.
All right. This is for the viewers. A full goat, a full goat is 10 times better than some slice of beef. A full goat is better 10 times than it just a slice of beef. So now the viewers can now understand the part where we're coming from. So if you're out there, you're a young African, you want to change your financial situation. Now you've listened to this program for more than 2 hours. You know what to do. So if you want a full goat, you know the side you're gonna pick and you know what to do. But if you want some slices of beef and you go around, hey, I've eaten beef today, then you also know the side that you can go. But for me personally, I keep advising people spread your investments. Don't put everything on one basket. Life is not about Bitcoin. It will never be. There's other things and other coins that can help you too. So a full goat is
Mhm.
better than a slice of beef.
So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to follow up on Brian's advice. Anything you don't need, sell it even for a markdown. And I'm going to take that money. I'm going back into my. I remember that I have an LCD that I have not sold yet. I have some headphones that didn't work with my computer, so I'll put it back in the market. I'll sell it. I'll show you for how I will invest in all of these coins, and if and when we meet next, I'll show you exactly how I have performed to see if we have been able to practically translate this session into money. This is the ultimate Bitcoin situation.
That
So
would
we
be
put our
awesome.
money.
That would be
Go ahead,
awesome,
Philip.
Sandra. I mean, that would be
Yes,
awesome. I'm looking forward to actually seeing, because this is an issue where analysis comes in, because it helps
yes,
all of us in at this point being able to sort of, we won't become financial advisors, but become potential. How do I put the word? Potentials to see how we take this into the next level, because we're thinking forward, right? So I
yes,
think your idea is perfect. I'm looking forward to that as well, because it will be interesting to see the involvement of that. You know,
yes. Yeah, and
fantastic.
I'll show you for all the listings how much I sold it, and I will
Mhm.
make sure I sell it because it's going to go to zero practically if it stays with me. So I'll sell it for whatever anybody is paying for it, and then I'll come here with the results. And I'm not saying take your salary. I'm just saying take the things you don't need, as in Brian called it gold. I think he had a name for it, like gold in the dirt or something. And then we put it up here. Everybody's
Gold
definitely
dust.
going to win.
Gold
Gold
dust.
dust,
Yeah.
yes. So I have I'm looking around. I'm like, I have so much stuff I don't need. Okay, we're about to get Bitcoin out of it. So babes, I think you should try that as well. Let's.
For real, for real. What's the time? What's the time span for that? How long
I
can that?
think I'm going to use a month or 2 weeks, depending. So I
Mm-hmm.
would list today. I would show people how I went from stupid shit that's in my garage
Mm-hmm.
to Bitcoin itself. I'm hoping that that will really incentivize users to get on the train and really buy into, or become subscribers of Dixon's enthusiastic platform, because Dixon is like an evangelist. Dixon, what
Yes,
you need is a bell and a white rope and walk around barefoot and tell people about Bitcoin.
not
But I
Bitcoin.
think
Not Bitcoin, about Ethereum.
cryptocurrency, oh, Bitcoin, it's a Dixon, don't no vex for me. Oh. So, guys, I think that we've had a very productive show. It's been
Yeah,
2 hours. So, babes, I don't think you viewers, oh my God, everybody needs a break at this point in time.
of
I'll let you
course.
conclude the show.
Oh, of course. See, this has been amazing, and I will try the same thing you're doing with all this. But again, Brian is still there with one coin, so we are looking at 10 minus
11
that.
now, because we have to throw in Brian. So, it's 12 coins. So we have to throw in Ethereum and Bitcoin. I was hoping we'll have 17. So we have,
Okay. Okay, it's a good list. But yeah, this has been amazing. Dixon, thank you so much. When Brian reached out to me and said, hey, we can do this again, I was like, Dixon. And again, this has Dixon is bringing his expert. And again, Philip, thank you so much for your insights. Thanks a lot for all. Like, it's been very productive just listening to you. And I've told Brian now and again, sometimes I tie with Dixon that Brian is very technical. He's getting better as the more we talk to him and bring him on these platforms, he's getting
Mhm.
better. Because the first time I spoke to him, I was like, what the heck? Tell that he's a developer, right? So I could tell.
Yeah,
I did not need to ask any questions just because of
yeah,
the way something in his head tells him that everybody understands his brain. But
yeah.
as time goes on, we are getting to understand Brian. Brian is breaking
Mm,
down all the good knowledge that he's sharing with us
mm,
online here. And it's thanks to him that we get to talk to people like Dixon and Philip. So, Brian,
mm.
thank you so much. Okay. You're doing a great job. We
And
appreciate
thank Dixon too for pushing me to the wall of the.
Yeah.
But
and
anyway,
again, and to everything, our incredible sponder. I could not have done this. Trust me. I could never have moderated this show for it to be as good as it has been. So thank you so
Thank you
much.
very
I
much.
appreciate
You're
your
welcome.
insights. You're coming with a lot of knowledge and you're very fair in the way you moderate. So in as much as I'm
Mm,
learning about crypto, I'm also learning from you. Like your
thank you.
moderation skills, I'm picking up, okay? I'm
Yeah,
picking
there you go.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you all very much for inviting me. Thank you, Dixon. Thank you,
Yes.
Brian. It's been a pleasure meeting you and Spander. So
Thank you,
babes,
guys.
it's been a pleasure joining with you guys today, and I hope we can continue this much more.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Amazing.
guys.
Thank
All
you.
right. Have a nice one, guys.
yeah,
See
you
you next
too.
Awesome.
time.
Thank you
Bye.
all so
Yeah,
much.
thank you. Bye, guys.
Peace, peace, peace.
Brian don't roll.
No.
It's nice. It's nice talking to you, though. Like
Thank you
I
so
really
much.
enjoyed. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And take time. Take care. Have a
And
nice day.
you too. Bye bye.
Bye.
Hey, hey, we've come to the end of the show today. It's been an amazing chat. This is above 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours, 19 minutes. That's how long it took us. It's been a great chat. I love that we have the opportunity to hear from people who think differently. And that is the goal of this podcast, right? The goal of this podcast is for us to be able to come sit down, learn. If there's some things that you have doubts on, go ahead and ask your questions. And I love that people have been interactive. Again, remember that whatever was shared on this podcast today is not financial advice. These are people who have come together to share their experiences, share their knowledge, but they are not your financial advisors. Okay. I do appreciate you all for the time today. See, I got so hungry, I had to order something from my daughter to eat because I was starving. But hey, I had a good time and I hope you did too. Share this video and please pump the like on here. And do not forget to follow You Can Be Anything podcast on Facebook and subscribe to Solange Chair on YouTube. Thanks again, and I will see you on the next episode. Have a good one and be good to each other. Bye bye.